On this episode, commission mentality versus mission mentality. Hey everybody, this is the Cornish Show, and today we're going to talk about the mission versus commission, or commission versus mission. And for me personally, we actually had something come up today, and it reminded me of this topic because it's like, for me personally, I'm not commission mentality. I don't have a commission mentality. I have a mission mentality, and what that means is that salespeople, when you get after, you're trying to just make a sale. You're trying to make a commission, and I think it comes up a lot. I think a lot of people have been guilty of it, and you kind of get motivated by the sale. You're trying to make a sale. You're trying to you sort of get suckered into the money. You start thinking about the money. It gets in your head, and not because you want to personally get paid, or maybe it is because you want to personally get paid, but it will poison the deal. And the thing is that and sometimes, by the way, even prospects sometimes will say to you, I know you have a commission coming. I know you're going to get a commission, but that will help. That will poison your thoughts and poison the deal. And the thing is, you have to be not commission mentality. You have to be mission mentality, which means you have to have a purpose. You have to have a mission to what you're doing, and that purpose has to trump everything else. You have to be driven by the mission and focus on what is the mission. What are you trying to get done? What's important for the client? Why are you sold on it? Why do they need it? What do they need? You have your own basic purpose, and you have the purpose for the company in terms of what you're trying to service the client with. And then you have to be acting against the mission. And the mission has to sort of be ranked above anything else. And you got to see the mission through. So whatever you're selling, I know for us as an agency, our mission is to deliver incredibly strong strategy using communication to help our clients' companies grow. Like, it's strategy and communication to be a catalyst for growth, right? We're obsessed over the mission of what we're trying to do. So if we get kickback, or if we get something coming from a client and it sort of slows it up or whatever, if we go down into the range of, commission, I'm trying to make sale, I'm just trying to get the sale, it will hurt your ability to make it happen. It will hurt your ability to pull the whole thing off, and it will poison your thoughts, and it will poison your actions. But
Richter's been really like I've done very well at Richter, and it's been amazing, and my life has changed, and sales is awesome and all that stuff. But like, the number one thing that if I slack a little bit on keeping the number one thing of helping my clients, if I slack a little bit on keeping that in mind, like, I suffer, my numbers suffer, everything suffers. Robert mentioned that this topic came up today and whatnot, and there was a very nice deal that I closed with a new product of Richter's that is just totally amazing. The product is amazing,
yeah.
And they signed off on the proposal. And I talked to many of them. We both talked to many of them in the company.
Yeah.
I talked with one of their salespeople, because this tool is specifically to help the salesperson, and we talked about all sorts of things, sales, and so he knew that there's a commission in it for me, and he knew basically what it was all about. And so he emailed me back, and he's totally awesome and a super sweetheart, and he goes, "You'll have a great week," right? Meaning my commission.
Yeah.
But I was just jacked. I was over the moon. I was so happy. I was literally elated, because I know what this is going to do for them. I'm so glad that we communicated just effectively enough to them so that they believed in what we were saying, and had confidence enough to sign off, because I know what this is going to do for their company. Just this video.
Because closing deals is 10 times easier when you're convicted by the mission.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, what you sold was the mission, and you were sold on the mission and the purpose of what you're trying to do.
I was jumping up and down, not because of making it rain and money and all this stuff, but because of what we're going to do.
Money's not enough. Money's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough to motivate you. It's not enough to take you over the humps. It's not enough to push you through the deal. It's not enough to push them through the deal. It's quite frankly not enough. And I think we live in a society where people think that money, 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 and get rich and all those things. And look, I mean, you need to make a buck. It's true. You need to make a buck, and there's no way around it. And money's the way the whole thing's rigged. And sales, sales, money, they kind of go together and things like that. But it's not enough, And if you get stuck in the sale, you'll dump it, you leave it, and you don't really do what you should do to see it all the way through and service the customer and take care of them. You're like, oh, you know what? Turn or burn. I'm going to get the next one and just sell them. I think that viewpoint's flawed. Frankly, I think it's a flawed viewpoint. I think that
you know what it leads to?
Yeah.
It leads to this idea, which is, I gotta say, and you can comment on it, I think it's false, sales is a numbers game. It leads down the hole to sales is a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. To me, I understand it, but it indicates a move on to the next one mentality.
It totally
indicates
does.
a lack of full help.
It totally does, because if you're doing it against the commission, if you're doing it for money, then it's a numbers game, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, go for it.
Right? But if you're doing it because you care and you're focused on the mission and the mission is important, it's not at all a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's a people game. It's a people game, it's a help game, it's a service game, it's a game that you're delivering a real product or service to a customer, to a company that's going to help them and do something positive, because that's what you are. You're essentially a servant or facilitator of delivering an end result to a company or a product or service or whatever. And when you dumb it down to a commission game, a commission mentality, it becomes a numbers game, and your numbers crash, and then you just start turning and burning, treating everybody like a number.
Right.
And that's a crappy model. That's just a crappy model.
Well, it also creates, the thing is, I've worked with Richter for almost 5 years now, and there is not one day where I have not been excited to come into work.
Yeah.
I enjoy coming into work every single day, and if it gets, and this is where for us to communicate to others.
Yeah.
This is part of the reason why we're doing this show, is we would love to help others infuse these different tidbits into their culture.
Yeah.
Because it makes it a pleasure to come to work when you are not focused on how much money is in my bank account and how much did I make today and
it's got to be bigger than that. It has to be bigger than that. So
the mission.
Figure out what the mission is. Figure out what is the mission. What are you trying to accomplish? Write that down. You look at the company. Like for us, we have a basic purpose, and we know in simple terms we're here to help companies grow. We're going to use communication and strategy to help companies grow. That's really what we do. Ultimately, that's our mission. And we have a bigger mission written out in terms of what we do that everybody knows here. And we drill it in all the time because we want people to be. We want that in their head, not like some cute cliche thing, but something that they live and breathe, that culturally is built in. And when you sell with the mission in mind, with the basic purpose in mind, it's a complete game changer. Your probability of closing a deal will go dramatically up. You're selling authentically, and your close ratio goes up, right? Like your ability to actually close a deal goes dramatically up because you're selling with the mission in mind, and you're reinforcing the mission.
Yeah, you might get a guy or a gal that can really hustle and crank through phone calls and stuff like that, and and do the numbers game.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, they might go like this.
Yeah, up and down, roller coaster type thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're motivated, sometimes they're not motivated.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes they're kind of like, maybe they need money,
Yeah.
or they don't need money, or whatever. But that kind of ebbs and flows.
Proof's in the pudding, and we can dig into Richter stats another time.
Yeah,
But I tell you what, Richter's stats are up every single month, every single year, because we love doing it. Anyway, we could go into that more. But anyway, the mission is the key.
Mission is the key. So, I think that, that's the thing we want to convey is obviously don't have a commission mentality, have a mission mentality, figure out what your mission is, write it down, write what your mission is. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What's the mission? And then, why are you sold on it? Why should they be sold on it? What are you selling? Why is it important to them? And then sell with the mission firmly in mind. That'll take you over the hump. That'll make you make that extra phone call. That'll make you do that thing in person. That'll take you to send that gift or do this or call that other person that's awkward that you don't want to call.
Right.
Because the mission will take you over the humps and the commission won't. Okay? We'll have more coming at you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. And the handle we have it now, it's the Quarter Show.
The Quarter Show.
Quarter Show, hashtag the Quarter. Ask questions on Quarter on the Twitter thing. Put it on the comments, and we will answer those as well on some of the shows. Okay?
Right on.
Thanks.